As we dive into the world of Wraith, it's important to understand the regions and professions that make up the game that we love. At the heart of Wraith, you have Solana. Solana is described as a radiant beacon of hope in a world on the brink of chaos. Solana is home to many knights and warriors that protect Wraith from evil forces. You may even know some of these knights. We will discuss some of these in later videos, as well as going through a deep analysis of Solana. But for now, what you need to know is that Solana is like the capital city. Imagine it as the heart of all good things, and where order plots against chaos. Fueled by a magical energy known as the Flow, lying to the east is Aria, a fantastical realm where the landscape is ever-changing. Aria is full of peaceful villages, home of bards and celebrations and festivals. Music flows through the air on a regular occurrence. To the west of Solana are the unforgiving, savage lands. Generations of humans have tried to tame the land, yet it still remains unmapped. The Savage Lands are host to some of the most unique, treacherous, and vile wildlife known to Wrath. Despite the dangers, adventurers gather from all over, attracted by the stories of successful hunts and famed explorers. To the west of Solana, among the mountain ranges, lies a hidden world, Mysteria, concealed by a thick veil of mists. The villages are carved into the rock and hanging from thick vines. They are home to people as steadfast and mysterious as the mountain ranges they call home. Mysterians enjoy being removed from the outside world, finding satisfaction in introspection and self-discipline, training rigorously to strengthen their bodies and sharpen their minds. Yet there is more than meets the eye to Mysteria, as a veil of mist hides a wealth of secrets. The largest hub of commerce on the continent is Metrix, taking pride in the pursuit of progress and the future of technology. Yet deep within the city of Metrix, centuries of mining have left a series of massive underground caverns. Less savory individuals have settled within the darkened caverns of the pits, providing all manner of immoral and illegal services to the world above. The promise of a better tomorrow is what guides those who take home in Metrix. Doctors, scientists, merchants, and miners all contrast with what happens below the city. There's a place for magicians and wizards to study taboo and forbidden subjects without the threat of punishment and retribution. The Demonastery is a place that interacts with the dead, bringing them back to life, recreating and not caring about the consequences of such actions. Researchers with a taste for evil traverse beyond the shores of Wrath to partake in experiments without interruption. It's safe to say that a different kind of evil lies here, and those who wish to discover it must proceed with caution. But there are all kinds of evil, and running within rivers of lava, throughout pooling massive lakes of molten magma, the citizens of Volcor are resigned to a life of servitude under generals, locked in constant warfare. But this warfare is different than the rest of Wrath. Volcor is home to wizards, and within the palace walls, young wizards make their way to and from training exercises, as servants provide the meals and food to those who wield the power and ancestry of Aether. Of course, we are only scratching the surface of what lies within the regions of Wrath. We'll be doing individual videos on each of these regions, so make sure you hit subscribe and hit the notification bell. But we also have to discuss the professions that make up the world of Wrath. And you may be familiar of some of these: the Guardian, the Brute, Wizard, Ninja, Warrior, and Ranger. But in the lore book, Legend Story Studios has included 4 additional professions that aren't included in the cards of Welcome to Wraith, Arcane Rising, or Crucible of War. Those are the Alchemist, the Assassin, the Illusionist, the Necromancer, which could be the Runeblade, and the Cleric. I also love that they've included a tag that says, "and many more," which opens up the door to continue to create new professions and such new characters and new heroes in the game. We could talk in depth about each profession in separate videos, and we might very well do them. But what we need to know to understand the world of Wraith is that it is a world that is plagued by war and conflict, and the people have developed ways to keep themselves safe and fight back against their enemies. Even when there are centuries of peace, these professions have lived on and been passed down from generation to generation, and they evolve with each passing year. What will be most interesting is to see if the next set, Monarch, brings us those 4 professions that are mentioned in the lore book, or if they add new professions in the many more slot. We will pick up next week taking a deep dive into Solana, learning all about that capital city, the secrets that might lie in the Library of Illumination, and in the Solarium. Wherever our adventures take us, I'm glad I'm not alone. Thanks for joining me as I learn about the lore behind the game of Flesh and Blood. There's a lot to unpack, and I'm glad to be in this together.